Welcome to Too Many Tabs, a podcast where a husband and wife sit across from each other at a desk. How long have they been doing this? They've been sitting across from each other eternally. They'll continue to sit across from each other.
Forever.
And what do? They distract themselves by going deep. Deep into the archives, deep into the stacks, deep into the caves, some would say, and they find information, they bring it back to the person they love, and they dump it all over them. Mm-hmm. They smush it in. They get it crispy between the toes. It gets a little bit freaky deaky.
It looks like that Nickelodeon slime.
It does look like that Nickelodeon slime, or in this case, a little bit like cheese.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.
Are you fucking ready, dude?
Listen. We would like to remind everybody, you heard it there at the very end of our theme song. It's always been there. Remember to smile.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Yeah.
We already released an episode that was open to everybody of our Patreon exclusive podcast, The Warm Up, where we kind of put some announcements out there.
Yeah.
And for anybody who wants to just skip over the announcements and get right to the cheese, I'd say jump to about the 5-minute mark. Mm-hmm. But real quick, we have some things we want to cover due to some changes that happened in the nation we live. But a few different announcements. Mm-hmm. Number one, let's go ahead and start with the sad one.
Yeah.
Which is due to some changes, I and Mrs. P, we don't want to be apart as a family. So our shows in Arizona and Dallas, Texas, that were supposed to happen on the 16th and 17th are hereby canceled.
Yeah.
We apologize about this. We're going to look about moving things around. But Mrs. P, as she said on the warm-up, and as we've been discussing, we don't want to be apart right now. We want to keep the family together, and me flying a couple time zones away doesn't feel great.
I just need to not be alone right now.
Yeah, and also...
I'm really sorry, and I appreciate everyone.
Yeah, and also, I don't know how great I'd be on stage at the moment. So
that's true. He is not good at talking without screaming about Jill Stein.
Okay, well, that was on the warm-up. But better news, because this month, Mrs. P is not doing a book club.
That's not good news?
Well, this part's the good news.
Oh.
That I'm doing the book club.
That's true. That's
because good. Y'all, we need something to look forward to, and we need something to eat on this Thanksgiving.
We need something to chew on that's delicious.
Which is why this Thanksgiving, I am going to read and recite all of Horny Fairy 3.
I don't think you're going to recite it all.
That's right.
A thickum of a book.
It is a thickum of the book. I am 30% through. I'm going to spend a couple hours each day chugging and chewing on this thing.
Yeah, fingering it through it, right?
Oh, God.
Fingering through it.
Yep. But that's the biggest announcement that we want you guys to know. And also, as again, we said on the warm-up, there will be Patreon shout-outs at the end of this episode. We had been pre-recording a lot of different stuff around the election so we could get a bunch of different stuff done. Now that all that's passed, we're getting back and locking in here.
Yeah.
We have a lot of plans on what the rest of this year is going to look like, and we are...
These are the plans.
Yeah.
I've already written the plans.
Yeah.
We're going to do an episode about cheese today.
That is the plan for today. Today's plan is an episode about cheese.
You're going to love it.
But also,
even if you're lactose intolerant.
Even if you're lactose intolerant. The final thing we want to do is mention our researcher here on the show.
Oh, yeah. We have to give a big shout out.
Yeah.
We gave a big shout out in the warm-up to Sad Beige. Right. Mm-hmm. So Sad Beige, she's on TikTok. She's on Instagram as official Sad Beige.
Yep.
You may know her as the lady who does TikToks. They went viral, like, I guess a year or two ago, where she would do Werner Herzog's voice over children's catalogs of them wearing like Sad Beige clothing.
Yeah. You guys might remember. I think it was like 22 or even 2021 when like the Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, everything was beige. Yeah. The toys were beige. And she'd be like, this is Werner Herzog's.
Sad Beige children.
Yeah. And
so
for
anyway,
Sad Beige,
Sad
baby.
Beige
Yep.
has been helping me do research for these episodes because with the schedule that we were doing, with all the stuff with politics that was going on. I didn't have a lot of time to do all of it on my own, so she's been helping me, and it's been incredible. She's literally the funniest person ever.
Yep.
And I wanted to give her a big shout out and suggest everybody go follow her on all of her different medias. She is currently running a toy drive, and I'm just pulling it up on my Instagram because every year she runs a toy drive. And this year she changed the name of it because it's instead of like a Christmas drive, it says the Everything is Terrible toy drive. So if you would like to support children and teens that may not have access to holiday gifts this year, definitely check out her page. Maybe purchase a pair of socks or something for some kids that are being underserved right now. That could help lift your dopamine. You know? We don't know.
That might make you feel a little bit better.
Make you feel a little better.
And you know what? We're going to make you feel a little bit better with the only thing that's been carrying us through the last couple of days. Because it's been one of the few things we've been able to keep down.
Yeah.
And that is cheese.
I didn't even think about that.
It's like the only thing we really...
The only thing I've been able to eat for the last 3 days is string cheese.
Yeah.
Because my stomach is just not having it.
Yeah, but enough about that side of it.
No.
We're going to get into the better side of it. And so...
This is joy. We're having fun.
Okay. Sure. Y'all, this is going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time, boy.
You're going to love it.
You're going to love it. We'll be back. If you're listening on the Patreon, you're not going to hear messages. But if you don't like hearing ads, you can always join us. Promania500.net and join our Patreon. We'll be right back after this. And we're back.
We're back. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, listen, buckle up.
Because
this episode, when I tell you cheese, I'm not talking about regular schmegular cheese.
What type of cheese are you
I'm talking about cheese that's in caves.
What?
Caves and caves of cheese.
What do you mean caves and caves of cheese?
Are you aware that in the United States currently, there is stockpiles somewhere in the range of approximately 1.4 billion pounds of cheese in cold storage in caves hundreds of feet below the ground, mainly in Missouri?
Missouri's covered in cheese?
No. It's full of cheese. It's underground.
Okay. I did not know.
Yeah.
Wait, we still do this? I knew that at one point we did it, but we're still doing this?
Still happening.
We have a cheese stockpile?
Yeah. There's
What?
tons of cheese still.
We have strategic cheese.
We have. You never know when you're going to need it.
We needed it the last couple of days.
Sure did.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing.
Okay.
The cheese situation, as we're going to call it.
All right.
We have to go pretty far back. And you're not going to be surprised to hear that maybe that the cheese has to do with Ronald Reagan and how much he hates poor people, but it could come up. Okay.
So Ronald Reagan is involved with the cheese?
Why wouldn't he be? So we're going to go further back.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. One thing that keeps happening on this podcast is Ronald Reagan just keeps appearing.
That's where, you know what? Sometimes we talk about bad things happening.
Yeah.
And there he is.
You know what I think a lot about? On the Boondocks a long time ago, somebody pointed out Ronald Wilson Reagan. There's 6 letters in each name, and it's 666. This is Ronald Wilson Reagan. And I think about it. I think about it more often than I think about the color of our son's eyes. Some days.
That's not good.
That's good.
That's not healthy.
Listen, we're all in a place. Bring us back to the...
So some people talk about the cheese caves like they're a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
And one time Bloomberg...
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I love the idea. I want those conspiracy theories back.
Give us those kind.
Give me back those conspiracy... Like the moon made of cheese. There's
Perfect.
caves of cheese beneath Missouri.
Better than lasers.
Oh, my God.
Bloomberg once went as far as to say that Dairy Management Incorporated was the Illuminati of cheese. So, you know how that goes.
Okay.
Describing it as a secretive government-sponsored entity putting cheese anywhere they can stuff it.
What?
That's a quote.
Okay.
So we have to go back to the Great Depression, right? This is where it starts, the Great Depression.
All right. This is a long cheese journey.
Yes, cheese takes time.
Okay.
That's part of cheese.
I understand.
So we go back to the Great Depression,
All right.
and the farmers were hit really hard, right?
Yeah.
So farmers had a really hard time during the Great Depression.
Yep.
In 1930, Wisconsin was the largest producer of milk in the United States,
Okay.
with more than 125,000 dairy farms in the state. and nearly 63% of all the land in Wisconsin was farmland, and 71% of that land was for dairy farming.
Wow.
So the reason that we call Wisconsin the cheese state is like they were the cheese state. They made all the dairy.
You know what? That reminds me, like, there was a time in this country when the Hunger Games made sense because, like, each state did, like, one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from District Wisconsin. We do cheese. Like, you know what I mean? So, like when I watched the Hunger Games, like, we're from District 7. It's lumber. Or District 13. It's mostly lumber. And I was like, fuck off. Like, that doesn't make sense. But then you're like, West Virginia, coal. Got it.
Yeah,
okay, this is our one thing.
Wisconsin is dairy. Got it.
Yeah. That's the thing that catches me off guard, though, because like, we have a lot of cows here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
We have, like, out in the Amish.
I stop to see them every time.
Every time. You do point out, look at that cow.
I will point to I am a 6-year-old in our car every day since we moved to the suburbs.
Yeah.
Because a horse, a goat, a cow, I am baffled, befuddled.
Yep.
I am like, can we touch its face?
Yeah.
And then you're like, do not get out of the car. And I'm like,
I was
but
like, there's an electrified fence.
And I'm like, just let me touch his nose.
No, we're not booping no snoots.
I booped a snoot once in Vermont. It was so cute because the cows up there are really furry.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, let me get out and touch that cow.
Yeah.
And you weren't there to stop me because I was 24 years old.
Yeah, it was like a decade before we met.
And I booped that snoot of that furry cow. And it was the best.
But I think like back in like 1930, making that, I guess they're making it cheese so they can transport it. But it's like a crazy amount of milk and just like, I don't.
Well, no. Okay, so we're just talking about dairy right now. We're not even in the cheese.
Okay, but I'm still like, that amount of dairy, like you gotta refrigerate it.
Yeah.
It's like my thought process
So
is
much
like,
dairy.
So are we just like making a lot of milk and just dumping it? Like, what are we doing?
So in 1933, dairy farmers were receiving less than half what they made for the milk. And there were foreclosures all the time on these dairy farmers. And Wisconsin farmers were clearly hurting. And in some areas, the farmers banded together to fight back in what we now call the milk strikes.
Okay.
Milk strike.
Okay. All right. No, just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. Honestly, I miss it. There were better times. Okay, go ahead.
So
the
tensions.
1930s sounds like a better time.
Oh no.
Oh no. All right, you're spiraling, bro. Bring it back. All right, spiraling. All right, bring it in.
Tensions flared around the state.
Okay.
Farmers in listen, everybody from Wisconsin, I'm gonna say this wrong.
Oh yeah, they hit you with some names up there.
They got
names.
some
fucking
okay.
lakes.
It is Outagami. It's spelled Outagami. Outagami.
Outagami.
Outagami.
Outagami.
Outagami.
Origami.
County. These farmers started dumping truckloads of milk, and they shut down several dairy plants. They blocked roads. They barricaded the streets with logs and boxes and their own bodies to stop the milk trucks.
It smells like corruption out here.
Oh no, it smells really bad.
I bet, dude.
And they were dumping
God.
their milk into the streets in order to keep it from the market because the market was clearly flooded. So they're trying to make supply and demand.
Okay. So we're trying to suppress the milk, the supply.
The supply, exactly.
So we can raise the price enough so we don't lose our farm.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
So these strikes by the farmers, which were led by the Wisconsin Milk Pool, continued, including curdling incidents where, quote, when a raiding party of 50 farmers swept over the county line and committed acts of vandalism at several cheese factories, a Sheboygan Press article on the same day reported that kerosene was poured over 600 pounds of newly made cheese at a factory of William Funt in Cowpent County. And one incident of a volunteer delivering food to the strikers on the picket line being shot from a bullet fired by a man angry about a broken headlight.
What the fuck? Okay.
So they were called, I love that they called them curdling incidents.
It's
as
incredible.
when they're taking over different dairy things.
Yeah.
Because there's clearly some farmers that aren't joining their milk union at this moment.
Well,
they're creating a milk strike.
It feels, honestly, this feels more like union. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this feels more like mafia almost. Like, we're coming in. What are you doing? We're pouring gasoline on the cheese?
Yeah.
Okay.
600 pounds
600
kerosene
pounds.
of 600 pounds of cheese.
That's incredible. But yeah, I mean, I guess also, like, if you're shutting down, again, refrigeration, or if you're adding anything that is going to spoil the milk, we're not even going to get into the raw milk. Hey-oh.
Oh, nope.
Yep. Go ahead.
So
we're keeping it in 1930, folks.
Al Benson.
When they still use pasteurization on the fucking milk. Oh, we're in hell. All right.
Al Benson.
Okay, Al Benson.
Former socialist sheriff of Milwaukee County.
Stop. No.
Nope.
Why?
Socialist
the former we had a socialist sheriff
Yeah.
in Milwaukee?
He lobbied for a united front from the farmers. He often screamed about capitalists and accused them of working against the unions. He said a rebellion of farmers and laboring people against the present order is a good thing for the country, and defended acts of violence. He belittled fear for people who were opposed to the strike, saying that they feared that death could occur. And in a Sheboygan Press article, he was quoted as saying, "Sure, but what's the difference? They, the farmers, may as well be killed because they're going to starve to death. If we get some things we want, after all it's over, it'll be worth it. Strikes show the protests of the masses against the capitalistic system."
Wait. Are you telling me that a cop... Hold on. How far is the plot gone? That a fucking cop was like, yo, fuck the property? He looked at the status quo and said, my job isn't to uphold that? A socialist... Look at me in the eye.
I'm looking at
Say it again.
the socialist sheriff
Shut
from Milwaukee.
the fuck up! No! Oh my God. My grandma had no idea how good she had it. I'm looking at her picture over there, 1928.
Hey, girl.
Girl. Jesus.
So listen, that's all happening. But don't worry.
Okay.
FDR shows up. He's got the New Deal, baby.
Wheels in.
Wheels in. New Deal's here.
Yep.
And with the New Deal, there's reversal of the economy.
Yep.
And the creation of the Commodity Credit Corporation, or the CCC.
The CCC.
Which is a government-owned corporation with the power to buy agricultural products at a great scale to help farmers and keep food prices stable. This is all part of the New Deal.
Yep.
So, flash forward to 1977.
Wow. We just jumped 40-some years.
Yeah. He creates this thing, and it's working. The farmers are getting their stuff purchased by the government through the CCC, but we got to go ahead to 1977.
And just real quick for people who are actually really interested about the price controls and all this different stuff, I think there was not Adams Ruins Everything. I think there was one when Adam Conover had his show on Netflix. Mm-hmm. There is something in there about price controls and the New Deal and stuff. I remember him doing something specifically on this, but also about how times change and all the different stuff and the bigger farms and all this stuff, but about keeping stable prices.
Exactly.
Because for the farmer side, and just so everybody knows, because I know there's been so much about prices recently, this was about making sure the prices had a floor.
Yeah.
And also that they could have a control when it looked like the prices were taking off too big. So it was about protecting the farmers so they had a more steady, reliable income so they could borrow against it. Mm-hmm. And it was also about protecting the consumers so the consumers could plan their weeks against it. Yeah. So it's like if you go and you're like, one day milk is $17 and the next day it's 12 cents, that's gonna bankrupt a farm, and that's also gonna bankrupt the nation.
Yeah. Don't even bring it up.
All right, not bringing it up.
So 1977, President Jimmy Carter.
Still alive.
Still alive. You got it, buddy.
Fucking God damn it.
Buddy.
All right.
Opted to prop up the ailing dairy industry with a cash infusion totaling around $2 billion.
What? In 77?
Yeah, $2 billion.
In 1977
In 1977, Carter gives it to them.
He just gives it to the farmers?
Yes. Dairy industry.
Okay.
Dairy industry.
I understand.
Not
dairy industry.
just farmers, dairy industry.
Oh, gotcha.
The federal government was authorized to purchase dairy products with this money. Farmers could therefore ramp up production without risk, and any food that went unsold would be bought by Uncle Sam instead.
Okay.
However, this resulted in the government holding a bag of cheese, which Ronald Reagan inherited.
Okay.
Okay.
Ronald Reagan holding a big bag of cheese is kind of funny.
So the bag's still getting full. More and more cheese is being made.
Okay.
Okay. The government's supply of cheese is growing, and the government didn't know what to do with it all.
Yeah.
In 1981, the Washington Post ran a story about the continued drama surrounding the cheese surplus. Quote, In its subterranean freezers and cooling rooms, the CDC alone is storing more than 47 million pounds of dairy products that the government has had to buy from U.S. farmers through a controversial dairy price system program. The Secretary of Agriculture, John Block, incredible name, hefted a brick of fungus-infested processed cheese in the hallowed halls of the White House to demonstrate a pressing concern over dairy subsidies and their calamitous effects. Quote, "We don't feel we can keep the oldest cheese much longer," he said. The block displayed blocks of molding processed cheese at the White House to show, and he said, "It's moldy, it's deteriorating. We can't find a market for it. We can't sell it. We're looking to try to give it away. We have to do something about this," right? The oldest cheese that we have in the lockers isn't going to last much longer.
Yeah.
And so I think I do need to kind of pedal back on the fact that, like you were saying, they agreed to these dairy subsidies.
Yeah.
And they said, we are going to take on this milk and this grain and this corn and all this stuff, right? And with the grain, you can put it in a silo. Boom.
Yeah,
It just
hold it a
waits,
little
and you
bit.
wait it. You just like, oh, we'll use it eventually for something. Who
Yeah.
knows? With
You can
dairy,
give it to animals. Yeah.
With dairy, it's liquid. It's made of water. It's going to go bad. So they were forced to turn it into either butter, dried milk powder, or cheese.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did with it. That's where this cheese is coming from. They were
Yeah.
forced to, because they were like, oh, we have to silo this stuff away.
We got to store it.
But they just kept making cheese.
They didn't make anything else.
Yeah, they were like,
That's predominant of what
predominantly
they
they
made.
just made cheese.
This is incredible. This is the Bitcoin of dairy. I am obsessed. Okay, so the government is buying up so much cheese that we now have 47 million pounds of it at this point.
Yeah.
And this is the early 80s?
Yeah, 81.
81.
So a representative from Iowa, a leader in the dairy forces, as one would say,
Shut up.
was really upset when he did this and screamed across the congressional halls, "Shame! Shame on Secretary Block for bringing out moldy cheese. He should have shown how well it's fed this country." Right? Like, so he's doing the thing.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "No, you don't understand, blah, blah." So one idea for solving the cheese surplus was to dump it all into the ocean. I swear to God. They were like, we can't do anything with it. Just dump all the cheese in the ocean.
Okay. You know, the thing, what's crazy is, like, again, instead of just doing a little socialism, because they could have just given the farms money.
We could have just gave the farmers money.
But instead, they're like, no, the only way we're going to give you money is if you give us cheese. And now they have too much cheese. Also, not the first time our government's been stuck with cheese.
Yeah.
There's the whole Andrew Jackson cheese wheel incident.
Yep.
Which the Dollop did an amazing episode on.
Incredible.
But, like, again, there's so many times where we could just skip a couple steps. It's like Keynesian economics. There's an idea out there, like, in which FDR used, which is spend money like you're at war.
Yeah.
Like, and as you inject money into the economy, as the government's buying things and doing stuff and just, like, putting money out there, all the ships start to rise and, like, the economy gets restarted.
Yeah.
But, like, he was kind of proven right because we went into World War II. Like, FDR did it, like, a bit, and then people started yelling, like, socialism, communism, whatever, that's terrible. And then, like, FDR dialed it back. We had, like, another, like, a FDR recession. It was actually a big deal. And then World War II happened, and he was like, cool, I can just spend all the money. Like, yeah, whatever, it's for war. If you say it's for war and then we're going to make cool guns, then instantly we're like, yes.
Yeah, America.
But if you say you're like, no, I'm supporting cows, and people are like,
I don't know about that.
fucking, what are we doing, farmers?
So listen,
Yeah.
They said, we're not going to dump it in the ocean. That's wasteful.
Sure.
Okay. We're going to give it to the poor people. And by give it, I mean the moldy cheese.
They're giving away the... Is this where government cheese comes from?
Yes.
This is where the government cheese comes from?
Yes.
It comes from the caves?
So, hold on. I have a speech from 1981, December 22nd, 1981, from Ronald Reagan. The Dairy Price Support Program in this country has resulted in stockpiling a million upon millions of pounds of cheese by the Commodity Credit Corporation. At a time when American families are under increasing financial pressure, their government cannot sit by and watch millions of pounds of food turn to waste. I am authorizing today the immediate release of 30 million pounds of the CCC inventory. The cheese will be delivered to the states that request it and will be distributed free to the needy by nonprofit organizations. The 1981 Farm Bill I signed today will slow the rise of price support levels, but even under this bill, surpluses will continue to pile up. A total of more than 560 million pounds of cheese has already been co-signed to warehouses, so more distributions may be necessary as we continue to drive root out to waste in government and make the best possible use of our nation's resources. Ronald Reagan.
So, okay, this triggered a memory for me.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not going to believe this.
Okay.
Because he said, and I'm now starting to, I've had this conversation before.
Mm-hmm.
Because they gave it to the states, and the states then gave it to nonprofits.
Yeah.
And a nonprofit in southern Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
Where my dad oversaw and helped release government cheese to needy people across southern Delaware. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
My dad was like, I think he did it like when he was working for DuPont or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like local. Again, we used to have more like organizations. We just used to have more. I don't know how to explain it. That weren't so top down.
Yeah.
That weren't so like professionally nonprofit. We used to have ones that were just part of the community.
Yeah.
And I'll have to ask him more about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll ask my mom.
Fun fact, I did reach out to my dad about this.
Yeah?
And I have a quote from him for this.
Oh, yeah?
But we'll get into that.
Okay.
So the Time magazine wrote in January 1982 that, quote, as a present to the poor, the free cheese has its drawbacks. Needy recipients will have to scrape mold off the top of the cheese, which has been stored in 150 warehouses or limestone caves in 35 states for as long as 18 months. But insists Merritt Sprague, a commodity supervisor for the Department of Agriculture, quote, mold does not produce toxins that is harmful. Not much variety in the menu either. The cheese stored in 5-pound loaves is all processed cheddar, the kind sold in grocery stores as, quote, American cheese.
Is that when we say we got that cheddar?
Is
that from that?
I don't think that's from that.
Okay. I don't know.
It could be.
I do know people who hate cheddar, and maybe this is the reason.
Well, this isn't just cheddar. This is white American cheese.
Oh, this is white American too?
White American.
Oh, okay. Got it.
If you haven't seen white American, it's what we put on cheesesteaks.
Okay, hold on. After on Tuesday, I don't think a lot of people want to see white American right now. Hey,
okay,
come on, hold on.
Don't you air horn that.
But no, you're talking about white American cheese. This is for our, and again, this is for our overseas listeners.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to say the overseas listeners have no
They
concept
have
of what
no
we're discussing.
fucking idea what we're talking about.
Ultra processed, sometimes white, sometimes orange cheese. It's not what you're picturing Cheese Whiz, because that's often associated with like Americana food, that Cheese Whiz dip.
Okay, but then even with Cheese Whiz, there's a difference.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is Kraft singles.
Mm-hmm.
If no one in Australia is going to understand what I'm saying.
There's no way to explain
There's
this.
no way to explain how it is technically speaking a solid.
Yeah.
In some case, like there's some I've gotten recently where I'm like, this is wax. I don't know how to like describe
here,
it.
let me
It's
pull
a
up,
plasma.
Let me pull up the text with my dad. So my dad grew up low income.
Yeah.
And growing up, also when I was little, we had cheese that was government cheese.
Yep.
And so the one thing I always knew about it after utilizing it in the kitchen is that it didn't melt, right? It separated.
Yeah.
That's like a thing. So like when you buy white American at the deli now and you put it on a sandwich or a cheesesteak, it will melt. It'll get a nice like gooey texture. It's nice. But the stuff that you would get from the government was different. It separated. It was like almost so oily that it was like meh.
Yeah.
But that was also in the late 80s, right?
Yeah. You're talking about 88, 89.
Yeah. So like, but my dad growing up, he had that 70s version cheese.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He had that OG scrape it off cheese.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him, and let me tell you, I was like, this is going to come out of the blue, old man. Let me ask you about that cheese. And I said, let's see. how would you describe that cheese? I remember that it didn't melt right. It just kind of separated. But what are your thoughts on the government issued cheese? And he said, it was not very cheesy. We used to put it on bread and put it in the broiler, like cheese side down, to make a blackish burn mark to make sure it had a taste of something. But it didn't melt under the burn. It kind of just got soft. Consistency somewhere between hard butter and wax. Stopped you up big time.
Stopped you up big time is crazy. Oh my God.
Stopped you up big time.
Oh, that's the last line. That's all he wrote.
That's all I wrote. Stopped you up big time.
That's an amazing text.
Incredible.
I love that. I also love that your dad, much like you, sends one block text.
Always.
That's a big difference between you and me.
Yeah.
I text one sentence at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'll reread that one sentence. I'm like, blah, 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 send, blah, 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 send. You, your dad, your family, you guys write the paragraph, you reread it, you go back in, you make your edits. You write like mini text letters.
Yeah.
But speaking of mini text letters,
should we take a break?
I think we're going to take a break right here. And when we come back, we're going to learn more about the cheese caves of Missouri.
Yeah, well, I think this might actually take us in a different direction when we get back.
Oh, we'll be right back. Your cell phone bill shouldn't be a luxury expense. Mint Mobile has awesome service for just $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. It doesn't get better than that. And we just found out something about this plan before we walked up here to record this.
You just found out something.
Okay, well, I just found out something about it. Your dad and your brother.
Yeah, both have Mint Mobile.
They've had it for years.
Forever.
And when we said we're going upstairs, we got to record a Mint Mobile ad. Can you watch the baby? They were like, oh my God, we love Mint Mobile.
Yeah, they both were like, gushing about how much they love Mint Mobile.
They love the
price.
The price.
The way it works.
Yep.
And they really like their Christmas card they get from
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
they really enjoyed that. But also, your brother's an IT professional. He made a really good point. He's like, if you already own your phone, you don't need to worry about anything. You can use an eSIM card. You can switch it over very easily.
Yeah.
And they have the plan set up that they can do it as an annual payment.
Yeah.
And they just loved it so much. But this plan, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/tabs. That's mintmobile.com/TABS. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/tabs. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plans. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. And we've returned.
We're back.
We're back.
Okay, so listen.
Yeah.
Another funny thing that happened within this specific thing when they were making all the cheese is that at a certain point they were like, were making so much cheese. The CCC was making so much cheese. Yeah. And they actually had to grade it, like grade A, grade B. Like, you have to make sure you're having people check the cheese to make sure it's good. Yeah. And they were making so much cheese that they didn't have enough cheese graters. And I just needed to say that. And they had to hire
graters.
They needed to hire more graters.
Wait, graters with a D?
Yeah.
Not graters with a T.
What you're talking about is a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm just thinking about how much extreme pro wrestling I've watched over the years where someone pulls out a cheese grater and uses it as a weapon, which is always gross. Yeah. But also knowing that there was a point in this country where we didn't have enough cheese graters. Yeah. Is so funny. Yeah. So also we have I'm still hung up on the socialist, Sarah. I'm sorry. I know it's been like 20 minutes since we talked about that. I'm so mad that there was a time
So they also were trying to rehome some of the cheese to elderly low-income Americans. And it's like that's like the way that they were phrasing it. It's like we're rehoming it. Like we're not giving it away, like trying to get rid of it or throw it in the ocean. We're rehoming it.
Yeah, because you know what? Because that sounds like socialism. Yeah, I'm giving away free cheese is bad.
No, we can't give away anything for free, guys.
Yeah, no. We're rehoming the cheese.
And
we're sending it to a farm upstate. Cheese is going upstate.
The cheese. Oh no, he just went to live on a farm.
Oh, he's
the
just
cheese
living on
went
a
to live on
farm.
a farm. This is the time when we start to. It gets known as government cheese.
Okay.
It's often moldy.
Yeah.
It's
subpar.
distributed to these nonprofits by like the millions of pounds. It's crazy. They need like certified forklift operators to help with the cheese distribution.
I wonder if this, having it be called government cheese, it almost feels like a psychological operation by the Reagan administration to associate quality, like bad quality, with government services.
Fun fact, the next thing I was going to say is a lot of people were grateful for the cheese. However, a lot of people hated the way that having this cheese advertised their socioeconomic status. So it was like a thing of like, oh, you get government cheese.
Yeah.
Like, so you're poor. You need to take from this. Oh, you're doing that. Like, it became a thing where people did hate it.
But also it's sub-quality, too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if you could afford better cheese, you could go get it. Versus in other places. Because, again, this cheese was never meant for human consumption.
Yeah.
This cheese was always meant as weirdly a side grift on stealing tax money. And at the same exact time, a storage device. This is literally, oh my God.
Wait, can I just
hold on. Wait, hold on. I just, remember how I joked it was an NFT?
Yeah.
NFT stands for non-fungible token.
Non-fungible.
Yeah, this is literally fungus-covered cheese. Did anyone make a picture using the cheese and then try to sell it to Seth Green to have it stolen?
I have pictures here we could try.
Of what? Of trying to sell Seth Green?
Oh, no, we have pictures of the cheese we could make into
NFTs?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, what I was going to say is that, like I said in the early shout out and our shout out in the warm up about Sad Beige, and sometimes she writes me little notes
just
on
in
the
the
side
corner,
and stuff. And I need you to know that with this sentence about how people didn't like that this cheese would advertise their status economically, she wrote a little side note. It says, "This is why free school lunches for everyone is the best case scenario because it doesn't advertise the child's socioeconomic status. We are all in eternal hell over the very simple concept."
Okay, let me explain to the Australians listening at home. Here in America, we have a thing called school lunch debt. If you're wondering what that is, it is, for some reason, a thing we decided needed to exist.
Yeah.
In our public schools, the food is not free because we used to run under the assumption that kids who went to school would bring food from their farms for some reason.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why we have summers off and all that different stuff is because we still assume that everyone's a farmer, even though our actual agricultural levels and farmers and all that different stuff has shrank so much over the years.
Yeah.
And so because of all of these things coming together, we end up in this nightmare situation. The other thing, too, is actually it's the difference between, in America, food stamps, because we used to actually get stamps that could be used for specific food items that were given to you by a state government. It switched to a thing here in Pennsylvania. We have a thing called the SNAP card, and I think they have it across the country, right?
It's still mostly they use cards.
They use cards because again, that way people can't tell. It's a preloaded debit card.
Yeah.
That can only be used on certain items, but it's that way you don't have the feeling when you're in that line of like running the card. It's
called dignity. The thing we're giving people is dignity.
Yep. But at the same exact time, the problem you end up having is that people then are using it differently. So they look at it as I have $50 instead of I can get 2 packs of yogurt, I can get a milk, I can get this. So it's like it's a difference on that side of things. And there's been arguments 2 and 4 about different stuff over the years.
Yeah.
About whether or not it should be stamps versus an app versus this or that, or all these different ways and like how it should be collected and how we dole out these things in America. But I'm not going to go into...
That's a whole thing.
That's a whole thing.
And as someone who worked helping people get SNAP cards for a long time, I think if you qualify, you should get it.
You should, 100%. If you can qualify for anything, you should get it. Because I'm going to tell you what, right now, your landlord, they qualify for
They get all kinds of fucking subsidies.
You have no fucking clue. And you know who would know? You know who would fucking know that? That socialist-ass sheriff. I'm telling you right now, I want to fucking... Give me a socialist sheriff. These fucking sheriffs be out here. All these fucking sheriffs do is fucking evictions, and they do evictions and they run fucking prisons. And we used to have I am
beside
so
himself.
mad.
Beside himself right now.
Oh my God. You know how much we could have fucking defended with 3 socialist sheriffs in Wisconsin? In Wisconsin. Fuck.
I did want to read you the USDA's commodity requirements for the cheese when it comes to the way the quality of this cheese. Okay.
Who are these requirements for the dairy makers?
For the pasteurization process to make the cheese.
Okay.
So this is the process, and this is the requirements from the USDA before this is given made and then given to people, right?
Okay.
It says the processed cheese or blended cheese shall be made from commercial styles of cheddar cheese and cheddar cheese for manufacturing, Colby cheese for manufacturing, granular stirred curd cheese, granular cheese for manufacturing, and any mixture of 2 or more of these cheeses. Blended cheeses may use reduced fat cheddar cheese, skim milk, or skim milk cheese. The flavor of the cheese shall be free. I'm sorry, this sentence is so hard. The flavor of the cheese shall be free of all flavor defects except feed, acid, and bitter, which are permitted to a slight degree.
What?
The end. So they can use all the types of like Colby and cheddar cheese to make
all the main
blend.
cheese, then they can blend them together.
They can blend it together.
So they can take all the leftover cheese that's fallen off.
The cheese is not required to have flavor.
It can be, okay. Got it. Got it.
It is not required to have flavor, comma. It can have some defects that have to do with bitterness and acid, but it can't be too much. It's a slight degree, okay?
Yeah.
Slight degree
But it
permitted.
doesn't define what that is.
It doesn't define what it is, and it's not required to have flavor.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
my dad said.
So
okay?
we have flavorless.
He would burn it on purpose so that it would
at least have
because
char.
he could taste burn.
Yeah.
He was like, I guess I'll taste burn for joy.
Oh my God. Okay. It's also one of those things too with the government. Again, with the government.
With the government.
But in general, whenever they're writing rules for anything like this, there is weirdly an assumption sometimes of the people writing the rules that the people who are then reading the rules are not going to try to bend the corner on everything. And so, like, yeah, of course, this cheese is going to taste like shit. Number one, obviously, no flavor. There's no additives there. But the second thing, as you were describing it, it is literally a mixture of just all of the cheese that is falling off the fucking racks.
Yeah.
It is Colby. It is cheddar. It's low fat. It's skim. It's all. They're just mixing it all together and boiling it.
Yeah.
Putting it in a big pot.
In
then
a long rectangle shape.
into
so
a 5-pound slice.
Yeah.
And this is the hot dog of cheese.
Yeah.
This is the American hot dog of cheese.
This is why it's called American cheese. This is America cheese. Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is. You're right. Okay.
So
we took the gristle. It's gristle cheese.
Gristle cheese.
This is the scrapple of cheese.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, listen,
okay.
I fucking
All right,
love
Australia.
me some scrapple.
All right, Australia.
No, don't
Now let me
stop
explain
telling
scrapple.
Australia about how terrible.
I got to explain it to Australia. If I explain everything right enough, maybe they'll take us.
I don't know. They got big spiders, man. I don't know about that.
You know what? I've been looking.
But
They're
you're
not that
too ginger.
scary.
You're too ginger to go to Australia. They were under that zone.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. But you know what they have there?
What?
They have roofs. I think they call them rovies. We got rovies. That's fine.
Yeah. So much like government cheese, milk is also in the government subsidy, right? And so we're going to take a little pivot, kind of. Okay. So
Okay.
like government cheese is being served at public schools, so is milk.
Okay.
And they started piggybacking, like Big Milk. Let's just call it Big Milk.
Yeah.
Decides that we know what to do with the cheese. We're using it for government subsidies. We're making people eat it in schools. And I know we just talked about we don't give out free lunches, but like it's a whole thing. So they started this new campaign aimed at school-age children called Got Milk.
Okay. Yep.
They're, using the idea that milk is high calcium and it's low fat and it's an ideal drink to encourage healthy childhood growth. To this day, milk is required to be offered at every meal in the United States school district if they wish to be reimbursed by the federal government.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Got Milk campaign Again, for the Australians. No, but also for people who like, because again, I feel like advertising is different now, right? Like advertising used to, especially for me, what was targeted to me as like a teenager, it was always, I always think of the back of magazines and the back of comic books.
Yeah.
There would be a full page, high gloss photo.
Got milk.
And there would always be one.
Britney Spears, baby.
Britney Spears was one of them. For me, the one I always remember, Stone Cold Steve Austin with a milk mustache.
Oh, really?
Because that was the whole thing, is like all these people, it would be them and they would have a milk mustache from drinking milk. And then you had that little bit of white band. And the thing is, later, I think I want to say it's the early 2000s, when they started doing more stuff about like explaining advertising. So like the way that like when they're showing a Whopper from Burger King, how it's fake, and like the grill lines are painted on, all that different stuff. They did one about Got Milk, and how they actually were, it was makeup.
It wasn't milk.
It wasn't milk. It was makeup and paint and like specifically and like adding the droplets.
Behind the scenes, I don't know if it was Britney or if it was Paris and Nicole.
It might have been Paris and Nicole.
I think it was Paris and Nicole, because they were filming a Simple Life, and then they did a Got Milk ad in their Simple Life gear.
Yeah, I think that's
and
what I remember it
as. And that they painted it on. They showed you that it was like a thick white makeup, not milk.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the color of milk and what they were doing, you're like, obviously.
Yeah, no, but
this is all incredible because I hate milk.
I know. You like dairy. You actually like dairy,
like dairy.
but you fucking can't stand milk.
With milk.
Yeah, no.
You better turn it into cheese or yogurt or ice cream if you're good. I'm not gonna fuck
Y'all,
milk.
let me tell you something. I don't really. I used to be, for my breakfast, I was a breakfast cereal guy.
Yeah.
Cereal with milk in it. Mrs. P couldn't deal with me slurping the milk through the Cheerios. You know, like when you have it in the spoon, that noise. She just did a whole thing.
My shoulders went up.
She just did a whole thing. But it's like that. Every now and then we'll have milk in the house. I mean, as the baby gets older, we'll have it more probably. Yeah. But like, well, she'll have it.
I have it for baking. And
that's what I mean. You'll have her
stuff.
baking and stuff like that. And so when that happens, I get excited because I'm like, oh, milk and cookies. And sometimes I just like want a glass of milk. Yeah, I know. I'm not allowed to drink it in front of her.
Go in the other room.
One time she got me really, really mad, and I had milk in a mug, and I took a big sip and I gargled it. And she didn't talk to me for like a day. But I was like, listen, I can't, this is about as rude as I can get.
Yeah. Which is funny because people think that you're like a really angry, rude guy.
Yeah, but like the rudest thing I can be to you is like a gargled milk at you.
And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
gross.
Yeah.
So the California Milk Processor Board, they're the same people that launched Got Milk, also launched a campaign centered around a fake rock star called the Battle for Macarius. It's a 22-minute long rock opera.
What?
That is marketed as, quote, the most amazing rock opera ever made about milk.
Say that sentence again.
It's a rock opera.
Okay.
About milk. And I have it.
You what? You have it?
I have the video. And so my idea is I'm going to play you the video.
The whole 22 minutes?
Oh, we're going to watch it. And then we're going to come back and you're going to tell people what you saw.
Okay. So I'm going to go.
I will include the link in the show notes so that you all can go watch this after we discuss it. Don't worry. I'm not going to gatekeep this.
No, you're not going to gatekeep this.
This is for everybody.
So we'll take, the way you guys are going to feel this is you're going to feel it as a break.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come back and I think I'll be a different person then.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll be right back.
We're back. And I think I might have broke from any of my
I took notes.
You took notes, huh?
What was it called again? Macarius? The battle
the battle for Macarius.
So first thing, it's not really a battle. It's barely a rock opera.
How dare you? That was a rock opera.
It's barely a rock. I've watched many a rock operas. Okay. I've watched all of them.
So I'm assuming that all of our listeners are absolutely going to click the link we put in the show notes so they can watch this 20 minutes of glory provided to us by Big Dairy.
Okay. So
but right now, I need you to explain what you just saw.
I'm going to explain everything I just saw. Let's go ahead and start off with it is. When was this made? Do we know when this was made? It feels very 2006.
2006. The rock opera was hoping to resonate with the global teen audience. didn't to sustain the momentum.
This was
09.
09?
09.
This was aimed at teens? No, it wasn't. This was, okay, so you can tell that somebody did cocaine while seeing Old Spice ads and things being so random, because it's the whole thing is just like a random
and
generator.
Austin Powers.
No, not even just Austin Powers. It's also just like the darkness. Remember that? I believe in a thing called love.
Yeah.
Just listen to the rhythm of my heart. Those guys, it's like that type of stuff. They basically, again, these are soulless advertisers who are high on cocaine with a dumb budget. And they brought in people who just hoped, I think. These are like, it feels, no one involved in this.
Yeah.
That is on camera.
Yeah.
Have I ever seen before this?
No.
Nor have I seen in the 15
find their
years.
IMDb after this.
In the 15 years since this was created, I have never seen these people in anything.
No, but I'm gonna go find them.
So the Battle for Macarius is a story of a man named White Gold, who he's ostensibly dressed as like a 1970s glam rocker.
Yes.
Where he has a handlebar mustache,
Long blonde wig.
a long blonde and white.
Yeah.
He has blonde, like the
Roots?
front part. No, at the very front.
Bangs.
Just the front bangs are
Yeah.
blonde. And the rest of it is white.
White gold.
White gold. His girlfriend is named Strawberry Summers. And they have a whole song about how each of them is sexier than the others.
Yeah, the song is about how they love each other.
Yeah,
because
they're beautiful.
You're just as beautiful as me, and that's important.
Because they drank milk.
Yeah, because this the whole rock opera is marketing the idea that milk makes you beautiful.
Yes.
Long hair, strong nails, and teeth. So they talk about hair, nails,
and
teeth
strength
a lot.
in general,
and muscles and stuff.
muscles and all this stuff. Okay, so White Gold and Strawberry Summers, they're singing about how both of them are beautiful. And then out of nowhere, a wall explodes, and a bunch of men who are henchmen run in, and they steal Strawberry Summers, and then they use their vacuum backpacks to steal all the milk. And then White Gold's like, I'm going to fight you with my 1 gallon axe. And then he pulls out a guitar that is glass, that's full of milk. And he begins to start to play at them, and they throw some marbles on the floor, and he drops the guitar and it breaks. And he also gets a concussion. And then he wakes up, and then the news, which is 2 women who are conjoined twins via hand.
Yes.
They're attached to each other at the hand.
Only in that part, though.
Only there. That's it. They explain that an evil villain named Nestorius, he's like nasty, but Aureus, his henchmen stole all the milk. And they went to Cranky Island.
Cranky Island.
And so White Gold...
Because milk makes you not cranky.
Yes, exactly. Because, you get hangry. It's like Snickers in that way.
Yes.
Again, you guys are starting to feel how this is like very Adult Swim, very random. Okay, so then he crosses the Insomnia Sea. Now, why do they have to cross the Insomnia Sea?
Because they're marketing saying that milk actually gives you a better night's sleep if you drink milk.
Yes. When he's on a boat crossing the Insomnia Sea, he discovers in the boat that there is
a man hiding.
And then he pulls back a tarp, and a dude pops out, and he states that his name is Jug Life.
Yeah.
And they have there's a number.
Battle?
Now I'm going to say a number. I'm going to say that there is a what could be considered a musical interlude. Where they are describing each other's muscles at each other. And then eventually they both realize that they're both from Macarius, which is where the boat was initially. So like it didn't make sense. You would assume immediately that they're both from Macarius.
Are we going to talk about how
Hold
it was
on.
a...
Bovina?
No, I was going to talk about how it's a black man pops up.
Whose name is Jug Life.
And he calls himself Jug Life.
Yes.
And I immediately said, oh, no.
Yeah. And then he has tattoos. And at one point he goes, what's the White Gold, who is white, by the way. I forgot to mention that. White Gold points and goes, what's that tattoo? And the guy goes, oh, my favorite number. And he points to the number 13. And he's like, no, the other one. And he goes, oh, that's Bovina, the unicow goddess.
Yes, it's a unicorn cow.
Yes. Again, so random. Then they are like, we're gonna fight this together, and we're gonna save Macarius. And then they cut away to Nestorius, who's in his tower, who's just like this slimy little dude.
Yeah.
And he plays
big nerd energy. He has a big N on his forehead,
and everything's purple. Like he's wearing everything's purple and black. And meanwhile, all the milk stuff is white.
Yeah.
And except for Strawberry Summers, who's like has like a hint of red, and she's a redhead.
Yeah.
Nestorius creates a storm while screaming, "I've got all your milk."
Yep. He's stolen all the milk.
He starts yelling, "I have all your milk! I have all your milk!" as he plays. I think at one point he says later it's like a space horn.
Yeah, it's like a space horn.
That's what he calls it. And then Strawberry, who's watching all of this over the evil guy's shoulder because he's looking at this through a portal, she yells, "White Gold can't swim!" And then the boat capsizes.
Yep.
And the guys fall through what I could only describe as like a Barbarella knockoff. And then it cuts and they have their boat has like crashed and to an island.
Yeah.
And I guess they've actually reached Cranky Island at this point.
Yes, this is Cranky Island. They've made it.
They've made it to Cranky Island, and Jug Life and White Gold are like, all right, well, we'll go save her now. And by the way, this whole time, White Gold has a little necklace that's a little pendant that's full of milk.
Yeah, that Strawberry gave him.
And like it's communicating with him.
Yeah.
And he keeps taking little sips from it because he keeps almost running out of milk. And again, he can't survive without milk.
He needs it.
The only way they can survive is with milk.
Yeah.
They're crossing through like a ravine. I'll describe it. And as they're crossing through that, suddenly, I want to say it's about 15 of them. 15 like 3-foot tall monsters appear. Hair bushes. And they scream, "Oh no, it's the bad hair monsters."
That's right, because they're not having milk, so they have bad hair.
They have bad hair.
I want to say something though.
Yeah.
Those monsters had good teeth.
They have great teeth.
And the whole thing is that milk gives you good teeth. I don't know why they had good teeth.
But also, when watching this, the monsters had very similar hair to White Gold.
Yeah.
Who is ugly. I do want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Like, good on him, good body, butterface.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jug Life sacrifices himself to the bad hair monsters, but like not in a heroic way whatsoever. He straight up is just getting eaten by the bad hair monsters, and he yells, "Go save Macarius."
Yeah.
He's not fighting. He literally just like falls over, and he says, "Don't come back for me."
Yeah.
And he's just being eaten as White Gold runs away. They cut around a little bit. White Gold runs out of milk.
Yep.
And he freaks out while pulling out a mirror to look at himself.
Yeah, you gotta check it out.
He then passes out, and he has a dream where he's talking to Strawberry Summers, and they start making out. And when he opens his eyes, he's actually making out with a cow tongue.
Oh.
And the cow tongue is Bovina, the unicow.
Yep.
Who then gives him a glass of milk. When she was about to give him milk, I was like, oh, no, not from the udder. And then she did like from her unicorn horn.
Oh, yeah.
She shoots, and then an actual tall glass of milk appears. He drinks it. He gets all powered up. And then she unfurls her wings.
Yeah.
And then he yells, "Oh my God, Bovina is a Unipega cow."
Yep.
Okay. As I wrote this down, I began to feel dumber. I just want you guys to know I took notes the entire time. They then fly to the villain's house while again an random kind of musical interlude happens. They burst through the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then the villain attacks White Gold with a space horn.
Yeah.
And he starts yelling, "My space horn!" And he plays it. And like, I guess the horn is supposed to be
music
hurting.
is so bad,
it's
it
so
hurts
evil. It hurts White Gold. Bovina then creates a 2-gallon axe, which is just a double-necked guitar.
Yeah.
Again, that is glass and full of milk.
Milkful.
White Gold sings a song that I'm assuming is called Zaptacular because that's the chorus, and he just kept yelling Zaptacular. And as he's yelling Zaptacular, the guitar is shooting lasers out of it at the bad guy. Yes, at the bad guy.
Yeah.
Again, the guitar is full of milk.
Yeah.
It's a very big deal. It destroys the space horn. It clearly takes out the bad guy. The bad guy's like laid out on some steps. And that's when the bad guy, Nestorius, he goes, "All right, you can kill me. Blow me up, daddy." He's like, "What?" And he's like, "'Cause I'm your son, White Gold." And then he proceeds to start to do a song where he reveals that White Gold had sex with some woman when he was on tour.
Because he's a rock star.
Because he's a rock star. And that the woman never wanted White Gold to know because he's a rock star and she didn't want to get in the way of his rock star lifestyle. Yeah. And when she went to finally go tell him that he had a son, his mom was eaten by a grizzly.
Yep.
And that's what made him want to steal all the milk. Yeah. And that's what made him hate White Gold. And then at the very end of the song, he reveals that he has this tattoo with like a tiger with his mouth open.
With mouth open, biting a jug of milk.
Yes. And White Gold goes, "Oh my God, you have the same tattoo. That's our family crest. We're all born with this."
That's a birthmark, not a tattoo. White Gold.
That he said, and this is in space. This is fantasy.
Got it.
And then White Gold says, quote, "Can't go crying over spilled milk." And then everything is forgiven.
Yep.
He picks the bad guy up. And then he walks over to Strawberry Summers, and he flexes his muscles at her chains, and then the chains drop, which I was like, okay, I feel like I've read that somewhere else. I feel like that is a stolen bit. Then they all turn to Bovina, and he says, can we get a ride back to Macarius? And then she was like, hop on. And then everyone laughs, and then he starts violently making out with Strawberry.
Aggressively.
Violently.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to credits, where we see Jug Life again, who kind of starts like
a hip-hop song.
Like a hip-hop song that is actually about how to make a milkshake.
Yeah.
And then it's like the credits.
Yep.
And then the last line is like, we're never going to stop. And it just says the end.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is very much of just like, what would be so random? What would be so random? While also hitting our 5 key points about milk.
Yeah.
That you like have to be quite aware.
Yeah.
That this is about milk. But like the thing is like the songs aren't good.
No.
And also at the very beginning, there was a moment at the very beginning when they came in to steal Strawberry Summers and the henchmen showed up, because the henchmen are wearing like police riot gear. It's like SWAT gear with the face shields down with a big N on them. I was like, this feels very much like the Daft Punk anime.
Yep.
When they're stealing the people to take to Earth to make, where they steal the blue people, all that stuff. I'm like, oh, they're just doing the Daft Punk anime.
Yeah.
And then like, no, it's dumber.
Yeah.
It's if the Daft Punk anime, and I'm trying to think of that one British show where old Greg came from.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was a few like back in the day where it was just kind of like, what's the weirdest thing we could do?
So listen, everybody.
I hate milk. I fucking hate milk. Like, I'm mad.
Well,
I'm mad at milk. I'm mad at cheese. Also, like, they never once mentioned cheese. They straight up stuck with milk. I want to be clear.
Well, again, this is the milk.
No, I understand that. But, like, milk is dairy. Like, you could also, like, if the cows are going to make it either way.
Yeah.
Right? You need the milk to make cheese, to make ice cream, to make all this stuff. The only thing outside of straight up milk that they would mention was fucking milkshakes. Because I think they ran out of milk things. And I can guarantee you that there was a fight about whether or not they could even mention milkshakes, because milkshakes may involve ice cream. And they're like, we're not the ice cream council.
This isn't about big
This
ice cream.
isn't ice cream.
So listen, while the rock opera was resonating with their global teen audience, CMPB didn't wait until its October premiere to keep White Gold in its youth market consciousness. To sustain the momentum of the campaign, they had White Gold star in his own interactive video game called Thrasterizer in 2009. The game could be downloaded as an application on Facebook or on your cell phone by texting Thrash to 65579. Quote, a staggering 4 out of 5 teens have mobile phones today, and they're participating in social networking in droves, says James. By letting teens experience the health benefits of milk firsthand in an interactive manner, they begin to understand that milk is actually cool for them to drink. The object of the game was to accumulate the highest number of pints, aka points, using the phone keypad or computer mouse to play. While everyone can play the game, Thrasterizer is specifically targeted to entertain teens. The game touts the health benefits of milk that White Gold has been singing about: healthy hair, nails, teeth, and skin, while it rebuilds muscles and contributes to better sleep. The CMPB promoted the game in California schools in a variety of ways to make White Gold and the Wonder Tonic's health benefits top of mind among teens. Thrasterizer posters in school hallways, White Gold advice columns in school newspapers, as well as televised ads on Channel 1.
Channel 1? Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. This was 7 years after we left school, so, like, we missed this.
We missed this.
You know what's funny, though, is, like, I do remember them trying, like the... Again, to the foreign audience, this is going to sound so fucking insane. To our international audience, this is going to sound fucking lunacy to you, but in America, I don't know if we still do, but we had a thing called Channel 1. It was supposed to be a public service where, like, kids could learn about the news.
Yeah.
And it was through ABC and some other different organizations, and it was supposed to be like PBS. It was supposed to be public broadcasting.
Yeah.
And it slowly got taken over where it just became a way to blast kids with ads for 15 minutes before school started every fucking
witness
day.
9/11.
Or witness 9/11. We both witnessed 9/11. Because that was one of the deals is like you got a free TV in the classrooms.
Yeah.
And they would come in and they'd install these TVs. And then the schools were like, whatever, then we can use these TVs for other things.
Yeah.
But what that ended up being is this is the big marketing campaign I remember, Pearl Harbor.
Oh,
the Pearl
movie.
Harbor movie with Ben
Yeah.
Affleck. They did a whole thing and it was all about like, I think that was my junior year. Was like my junior year of high school. So 11th grade. It was this whole thing and they like did like fake of like what it would be like to like learn about Pearl Harbor as if it was breaking news. And they did like a whole fake news broadcast about Pearl Harbor and then like talked about how accurate the Pearl Harbor movie is. And then a year later, we watched 9/11 on those same fucking televisions. You just unlocked such a deep core memory for me. I hate you. Oh my God. I want a fucking divorce. Babe,
We don't have big divorce cheese
look
milk
me
money.
in the eyes right now.
Yeah.
I want you to know that you are currently teetering on the worst thing to happen to me this week. Okay? Do you know how fucking insane this is? Of all weeks, you're about to take the fucking cake.
Yeah.
I love you,
You got to bake
but
cake
I
with
am
milk and eggs.
very fucking close.
Select milk processors.
I'm curdling with rage. You are turning sour on me. This relationship is nearing an expiration date.
These jokes are pretty cheesy, is what I'm going to say to you.
Oh, you know what?
What?
You know what? I'm going to go look. I'm going to print it on the label. Missing our love.
Speaking of labels,
Yeah.
select milk processors in Central and Northern California also featured advertising for White Gold's Thrasterizer game on school milk cartons. This is a bold move for milk processors, quote, said James at the time of the game was rolled out. They don't usually feature advertising campaigns on their milk cartons, but because White Gold resonates with young people, introducing the Thrasterizer game to them will hopefully encourage teens to make better food choices that include milk in school. The Got Milk campaign was so popular and is often talked about in conspiratorial tones, but in truth, it was just a really savvy marketing campaign to get rid of excess cheese, and get young people to drink more milk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was it. The conspiracy was marketing. The conspiracy was marketing, and they were like, please just try, maybe twice a week drink a milk.
Yeah.
And they're like, then you'll buy some more. Or what I will say where it worked is I did think for the longest time, even when I first went to college, I would be like, oh, I should have milk.
Really?
Even like, I don't know why. I just always felt like I needed to have milk. It was just one of those things. I mean, it's the same thing today. I mean, I know we don't really get snow anymore because, Jesus Christ, it's 72 degrees out today. It's early November in Pennsylvania, and we haven't been able to wear sweatshirts yet. But back when we used to get a lot of snow, every time snow was on the forecast,
Yeah.
everybody would freak out. And they would run.
Get your milk
you
and
got to get
eggs
milk and
and
eggs
bread.
and bread. And it was like,
French toast for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Was everybody about to make French toast?
When it snows out, the first thing I'm like, oh my God, we're getting French toast.
Yeah. But
It's different in our house because I have to actually bake a loaf of bread.
yeah.
And then bake the loaf of bread, let it cool for 3 hours,
Yep.
then slice it, then make the French toast.
Yeah, 100%.
And sometimes you got to bake the loaf of bread, wait a day. 'Cause
Yeah.
It got to be a little stale.
Gotta
It got to be a little
stale.
stale for the Frenchy toasty.
Because you need to make gluten-free French toast.
Yeah.
While the rest of us eat good French toast.
Because I ate too many pizza crusts.
You ate too many pizza crusts. All right.
That's the episode.
That's the episode.
I
Okay.
don't know what to say anymore.
Well, we have a lot of people we
Yeah.
need to thank this
Absolutely.
week because we've been putting it off for a little
Real
bit
quick
because of
before
stuff.
we do the shout outs, can
Okay.
I thank the people that listen to this?
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for listening to this because without you, how long have we been doing this? Hour and 6 minutes?
Yeah, well,
has
actually,
been-
we've been doing it longer because there was a 22 minutes that they didn't hear of me
Yeah.
staring at that fucking bullshit. I had to sit there.
You loved it. Shut
I
up.
took it to the face like a champ. I will say, can I tell you something?
yeah.
I will say for those 22 minutes, I did forget what year it was.
That's what I was going to say. I want to say thank you to everybody for listening before we jump over to shout outs because this was 2 hours of our lives that we got to have fun and chill
100%.
out and relax and just talk about silly stuff and things that are impossible, like a socialist sheriff. You know? And so I'll see you at the shoutouts, y'all.
Yeah, we'll be right back with these shout-outs.
Pearlmania, 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 Pearlmania.
500.net. We haven't said that in a while. It's been a bit, you know. It's been a little bit
Look
since
at this
we've had,
list. Look
I
at
know,
this
we
list.
have a
We
lot
had
of
to
names.
pre-record because of all the things we
Yeah,
did.
and now we have 43 some
We
names.
got it. We're good.
Yeah, we got 43 names to go through. And we just, again, thank you to everybody. Let's go ahead and start at the top.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have Jonah R.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have The Perlmans Are My Fishbine.
Wait a minute.
Yeah?
Hey, hon. I feel like the Fishbine
Yeah.
is the hero.
Fishbine is the hero. We're their hero.
Thank you.
Can I tell you, somebody tagged, I don't know if I mentioned on a previous episode, somebody tagged me in a TikTok about like something where Fishbine's mentioned.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people were like, oh my God, Fishbine's mentioned. But when I started watching the video, it was a conspiracy video where Fishbine is like evil in their minds. And like, this guy had a ray that could cure cancer. I was like, get the fuck out of here, RFK.
Yeah.
All right. After that, we have Ravenna Roanoke.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Almanac_Gossip_Girl.
Oh, hey, hon.
After that, we have Brittany Smith.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Best Little Divorce House in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yo, let's go.
I actually know what you're talking about. I was told years ago when I was working at a bank, there was a guy, I mentioned like I was married, and he was like, well, if you ever want to end that, Erie. I was like, what?
Yeah.
He was like, Erie is the cheapest place to file a divorce in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And so a lot of lawyers will like do the paperwork there.
Yeah, the file in Erie.
Yeah, the actual filing, which is crazy.
Yep.
After that, we have Chaotic Tree.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have J Coffee.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Tabitha Albright.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have, Alicia LG.
Alicia LG. What's
I think
good?
that's, or Alechi. I'm going to go with Alicia LG.
Sure.
After that, we have I_only_joined_for_Mrs. P_Alex_is_okay_I_guess.
I paid them to say that.
I only joined for Mrs. P. Alex is okay, I guess. Actually, they paid me to say that. Hey-o,
Hey,
let's
hon.
go.
Thank you.
After that, we have David Burrows.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Book of Blee is Zelda, not the legend, just chronically ill AF and broke AF, but not on fourth round of binging all episodes and simply cannot. I think it got cut off.
Cut off again.
I think it got cut off.
Hey, hon.
Hey, hon.
They
How
reached
are you?
out. They tried to do it, and it was a whole thing. And I was like, listen, I got you.
Yeah, you got it fixed in there. After that, we have I_wood_have_voted_for_emperor_Norton_2024.
Oh, man.
Listen, we all would have voted
Hey,
for
hon.
Emperor Norton.
Listen.
The one thing I keep thinking about that Emperor Norton episode a lot. It was a lot of fun and mad depressing.
Yeah.
But at the same exact time, a really good episode. So thank you so much for everybody.
Bummer the dog, indeed.
Bummer the dog. After that, I have from_the_rolling_hills_of_Iowa. It's_not_a_flat_state.
Okay.
I think that's a deep cut because a while ago
I might have said.
No, I think I talked shit in a TikTok about Iowa a very long time ago, and I just kept yelling it's flat.
Yeah.
That was back in like January again during the primaries because I'm like, why the fuck do we care? Like, why is it Iowa?
Yeah.
And I believe listen, this time around, we're not going to go too deep into the primaries. I do believe the entire primary structure should be restructured.
Yeah.
It's completely wrong. And I also want to get rid of the Electoral College, but that's for different reasons because it would have been nice to have not been blasted by ads for 6 months.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. After that, we have Leah Pia.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Andy.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Olive Fox.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Jen Wallace.
Hey, Jen.
Halfway there. How you feeling?
I'm great.
After that, we have Grumpy_Pumpkin.
Grumpy Pumpkin. Oh, my God. I love that name.
Listen, well, we should tell people that Pearl Babia, our son,
loves a pumpkin.
loves a pumpkin. Big fan of slapping a pumpkin.
Yeah, you just put him in front of the pumpkin and he just starts hitting it like a drum, just slapping it.
He beats it like a bongo.
It's the best. I surround him in pumpkins, and then he like looks like one of those drummers that's like got a ton of drums around him.
Yeah.
He's just whacking them all. He's just
He
taking
just
turns.
gets so excited. We took him they had an event near us where they had a bunch of little pumpkins out so kids could draw on them.
Yeah.
and like paint the pumpkins. And we just sat him down in like this dirt patch, and he got so overwhelmed.
Surrounded by pumpkins.
He was surrounded by pumpkins, and he just couldn't pick which one.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my God, we got all the way. We walked to it from our house, and then I realized, I'm like, oh, he doesn't have a pacifier. We didn't bring the. We have to go home immediately. And then like I realized, but there's no way out of this. So we just walked a screaming child for 4 blocks.
Yeah, because once he realized he didn't have a pacifier,
it was over. We had no way of pacifying the child.
Whoa! But he did slap a lot of pumpkins.
He did slap a lot of pumpkins. Yeah. After that, we have Sir Westonbrow.
Hello, hun, sir.
Hello, hun. Hey, hun.
Hello, hun, sir.
Salute, sire. After that, we have Olivia Whitehead.
Hey, hun.
After that, we have Serving Decepticon. Yas, queen.
Snap.
Yas.
Okay, honestly, make that a Halloween costume.
Listen.
Take a year.
Serving Decepticon. But make sure, this is one thing I learned this year. I don't know where you live, but do not trust that it'll be cold on Halloween. Because
you were sweating in your costume.
I put a full body costume on that was kind of puffy, and it was almost 80 degrees on Halloween.
Yeah, it's hot.
Again, when I was a child, we wore jackets on Halloween.
Let's stop bringing it up, okay?
After that, we have Marion Valos.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have pre-K _teacher _with _ADHD _podcast _save _my _sanity.
Hey, thanks for the work you do.
Thank you.
Pre-K is a job. It's difficult.
It is
They
very
do get a lot
difficult.
of giggles, so that's
They do
fun.
get a lot of giggles, but they also get a lot of screams.
Yeah,
they got a lot of
screams.
tantrums.
There's a lot of poop accidents.
A lot of poop accidents, and sometimes not even an accident. Sometimes it just happens
on purpose.
We're looking around at daycares. We went to one today to take a look, and I was just sitting there. I was like, these ladies have just babies stare at them and just grunt as they poop, and I'm like, y'all aren't paid enough. And then they told us how much it is. I'm like, we're not paid enough. All right. After that, we have all _all _the _scores _
Nice. Hey,
you're
hon.
a monster.
I liked what you did there. Good work.
After that, we have Mare Bear.
I wanted to say something. Mare Bear, I edited their thing, and I didn't say it in the message I sent to them.
Yeah.
But I laughed really hard when I saw that because that's what we used to call my grandma, Mare Bear.
Mare Bear.
Hey, hon.
Mare Bear. Hey, hon. Welcome back, Mare Bear. After that, we have _want to know _Mrs. P _zoo story _from 2016 _
Oh my God. Do I tell it here, or we should hold it for another time?
I think we'll save it for the annual Q&A.
Okay.
I think we do a lot of lore dumps during that time, and I think we need to have something to talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
So you will hear about it.
I will eventually tell the zoo story of how I got banned from the Philadelphia Zoo.
Yep. After that, we have ISing the body electric.
Hey, hon.
After that, it's very good. After that, we have Laura Solomon.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have this _is _a _16th _regiment _house.
Hey, hon.
After that, we have Andrew Carnegie _patron saint of public libraries.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, hon.
Yep. And instead, now we just have ones who want to get rid of Wikipedia.
Yep.
Billionaires going sideways.
Yeah.
They were always easy. They were always evil, but like
back when you could call them barons.
I'm telling you, I had this argument with my dad the other day. I'm like, back in the day, rich people still had to walk through town.
Yeah.
And once they didn't have to walk through town, that's when it went crazy.
That and they don't have cash.
Yeah.
The fact that we can't just go rob them really.
Yeah, there really is no way. What are we going to do? How am I going to touch a number?
Yeah.
It's a digit.
Ugh.
After that, we have Lovezash. Lovezash. Lovexash.
Lovash?
Lavaxis?
I don't know.
All right.
Damn.
After that, we have out of episodes, in withdrawal, need warm-ups. Yes,
doing
you
it,
do.
Doing it.
Welcome to the Patreon. Welcome to the Patreon. And we're gonna come back and start doing a lot more warm-ups. We need them. You need them. And for those of you guys who haven't heard the warm-ups, who have actually made it this deep into the shout-outs, the warm-up in general is kind of where you get that kind of both the parasocial and where you get a little bit more of the lore dump today.
It's
like
more
today,
loosey-goosey for sure.
a little bit more loosey-goosey, but we made this week's episode free. After that, we have DeSantis's sleep paralysis demon.
Yo, I hope he never sleeps.
After that, we have Straw Hat Vet.
Hey, hon.
After that, we had, did you write this in or did they write that in?
I wrote that in there for you.
After that, we have Tash O.
Tasho.
Tasho. Hey, welcome. After that, we have Auntie _ Lindy's _ baby _ Alex's _ mommy _ and _ daddy. Auntie Lindy's baby, Alex's mommy and daddy.
Hey, hon.
I don't understand. Maybe that is a specific thing for someone's family. I don't think it's us.
I don't know.
There might be a different Alex.
You never could be a lady.
Yeah,
Alex's lady
that's what I mean.
sometimes.
Alex is a. Did I ever tell you about the time I got hammered and Facebook messaged every other Alex Perlman I could find on the internet?
What?
Yeah, didn't
that
work
go?
out well.
No.
Yeah.
You make enemies?
Yeah, I just remember this one person's dad being like, "Why did you message my daughter?" And I was like, it was a giant 39-person group chat consisting every Alex Perlman. I didn't look at ages. I was hammered, and I just put together every Alex Perlman into a single group chat. And out of those 39, one of them followed me back. And this like teenage girl's dad was like, "Why are you talking?" And I was
Listen,
like,
honestly,
"I get it now."
I'm glad what he's doing.
Yeah,
He's
no,
monitoring
listen,
the internet.
I
I'm
was
his child.
I'm
happy.
here
For that.
I was happy. Looking back on it, I was very, very happy. And it was, again, this is like 2007.
Yeah.
It was like a time
Back
where
when Facebook was fun.
Ugh. Never mind. After that, we have that _ music _ teacher _ who.
Hey, hon.
That music teacher who. After that, we have sugar versus art. Came _ for _ horny _ fairy _ book _ stayed _ for _ bullying _ Alex.
I have great news for you.
Oh, yeah.
I have great news. There's more horny books on the way.
After that, we have Illuminati.
Illuminati. Hey, hon.
After that, we have Fiona Mackey.
Hey, hon.
And lastly, we have O _ 2 _ B _ oh my God, I'm seeing what the whole name is. O _ 2 _ B _ A _ dog _ that _ doesn't _ no _ what _ fascism _ is.
Oh, to be a dog.
That doesn't know what fascism
Just
is.
out there sniffing stuff and laying down.
Yeah.
The dream.
The dream.
Maybe in my next life.
Maybe. Well, with that, we've reached the end of the episode. And what, as always, a poignant name to close on.
Yeah.
For a poignant audience that we do love. So to all the Pearl Maniacs out there, to all the Too Many Tabbers, to all of the Mrs. P fans.
The book clubbers,
we want to say thank you. And for everyone, the secret word this week that we want to get out so everybody knows it, that you can put into the comments, is just Horny Fairy 3.
I was like, what is he going to say?
It's going to be Horny Fairy 3.
Horny Fairy 3. Oh, we're doing it.
We're doing it, y'all. We're fucking doing it.
Too many frauds and too many scammers that we wish weren't real. Too many cons and too many spammers, and we're starting to feel like we've got too many tabs open. It's too many tabs. Remember to smile.